Grand Rising. Grand Rising. Here we are. Here we are. Team Badass. Are you staying in here? Get on the bed. Come on. Come here. Come here. Come on. Alright, I'll have to shut the door. Grand Rising. Here we are. Here we are. Team Badass in the house. I got some energy back. It's great. It feels wonderful. So last night, if I'm going to be honest here, after talking about emotional eating, which I'm not going to do again, and all the emotional turmoil going on in my friggin' zone, after having one day of no coffee, we've got. I did some emotional eating last night, and guess what I went straight for? Sugar. My dad brought home some turtle brownies. And I was like, all right, I'm having one. I've been doing so great that since I don't do absolutes well, I'm not even beating myself up for it. So this is day 2, no coffee. And I still have energy. I have energy today. That's great. So today's daisies are, if you are willing to admit when you are wrong, you are right. So that's pretty straight to the point there, huh? Oh, great. Tomorrow's is going to be exactly what I've been saying all along. Ooh, I can't wait to show that on Coca-Cola. All right. So, where are we at here? In our daily bread. Our daily bread. Alert circles. African gazelles instinctively form alert circles while resting on the savanna. They gather in groups with each animal facing outward in a slightly different direction. This enables them to scan the horizon at a full 360 degrees and to communicate about the approaching dangers or opportunities. Pretty smart. I always loved giraffes. I always wanted to go to Africa. Instead of looking out only for themselves, the members of the group take care of one another. That's what we should all be doing. This is also the Creator's wisdom for followers of Christ. The Bible encourages us. Let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together. Hebrews 10:24-25. Christians were never intended to go it alone. Believers, whatever you believe, nobody was ever intended to go it alone, explains the writer of Hebrews. Together we are stronger. We're able to encourage one another, is verse 25. Comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from the divine Creator. 2 Corinthians 1:4. And to help each other stay alert to the efforts of the enemy. It says the devil. I'm not even going to go into that right now because there is no soul devil who prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. The only enemy is really in your head. It's tricky stuff. Seeks to steal, kill, and destroy what? Your mind. Wants to trick your mind. It's all in your own mind. And that's 1 Peter 5:8, which that's funny because I was just talking about that yesterday. Confirmation. So 1 Thessalonians says, 5:11, encourage one another and build each other up. That's our job. That is our job. To encourage, to be there, and to love. The goal of our care for each other is so much more than survival. It's to make us like Christ. The Christ consciousness is already awakened. Many hearts still have to heal. Many people need to renew their minds. Loving and effective servants of the divine in this world, the Creator of love. People who together look forward confidently to the hope of the coming kingdom. All of us need encouragement, and the Creator will help us help each other as together we draw near to the Creator in love. Thank you, James Banks. How do you receive strength and help from other believers? Who can you encourage with heavenly love? Who can we build up? Everyone, always. We're here to bring the good news, the gospel of peace, joy, faith, all of the good fruits of the Spirit. Those are the fruits of the Spirit. So we need to make sure if we're teaching that we're doing it in that manner. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, ever so gentle for all the trauma survivors, and self-control. So thank you for your faithfulness, loving Creator. Help us, please help us to encourage others to look forward to you today. Absolutely. Help us. Help us. And we thank you for helping us. He sent a helper, a comforter through the Holy Spirit. It's been there all along. You didn't even have to get baptized for it. If you got baptized, then who even knows what's really going on? Because I did get baptized. 33. Made a conscious decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of my higher power as I understood my higher power. So just for today, we're working on not just surviving. When we were using whatever your distraction of choice is, whether it's shopping, food, sex, money, anything, drugs, alcohol, working out, whatever it is. When we were using, our lives became an exercise in survival. Now we are doing much more than living, much more living than surviving. Basic text, page 52. I'd be better off dead. A familiar refrain to a practicing addict, and with good reason. See, that's absolutely. My child said that to me yesterday. Actually, I said, no, your girlfriend is not coming back to stay here. I had to set firm boundaries and say, no, we're not having two people who do nothing around here, two drug addicts. I can't ever catch a break. Why didn't you just abort me? Is what I heard. And I just walked away. I don't even feed into that stuff anymore. It's not even, you just stay in that little realm. Go right on ahead and stay there. I ain't going with you. I'd be better off dead. All we had to look forward to was more of the same miserable existence. If you stay in that mind and you say you're gonna stay sick, and you say you're not gonna heal, you are gonna stay sick. You have the power to speak both negative and positive upon yourself. So you have to retrain your mind and your brain. And it's a big thing for many people to do. My child can't even do it. Oh, my child can do it. My child is not willing. There's a big, big action in that willingness. Our hold on life was weak at best. Our emotional decay, our spiritual demise, and the crushing awareness that nothing would ever change were constants. We had little hope and no concept of the life we were missing out on. The resurrection of our emotions, that's a big resurrection to have come forth. Our spirits and our physical health takes time. When you quit using substances and when you get off of psych meds, you can feel everything again and you feel like you're going to go freaking nuts. You might just start crying. I've seen grown men just cry, tears just pouring out of their eyes, and they don't even understand what's going on. The more experience we gain in living rather than merely existing, the more we understand how precious and delightful life can be. Traveling, playing with a small child, making love, expanding our intellectual horizons, and forming relationships are among the endless activities that say, I'm alive. We discover so much to cherish and feel grateful to have a second chance. If we had died in active addiction, we would have been bitterly deprived of so many of life's joys. Each day, we thank a power greater than ourselves, the Holy Spirit, for another day clean and another day of life. Just for today, we are so grateful to be alive. We will do something today to celebrate the fact that we're still here, because many people didn't have that. Many people lost their lives too soon. I've lost many, many beloved dear friends to addiction. Yes, I have. Overdoses, fatal. I myself have died on heroin. Died for quite a while on the floor, was blue, not even breathing. My cousin screamed at me when I woke up. Well, I only woke up because they gave me a shotgun of crack cocaine that started up my heart and my nervous system again. So this is no joke. We're losing way too many people. People are dying because they can't speak their words wisely, because they don't have people to build them up through this. So, in A Woman's Book of Courage, chirping up by looking up. Feel low sometimes? Me too. Yesterday I felt really low. Buster, I need the door shut, please. You're just going to have to lay on the bed and not come over here and bug me the whole time, okay? Feel low sometimes? Can't seem to drag one foot after the other? The weight of the world perched leadenly on your shoulders. We can chirp up by using a simple body language technique. Because our mind body connection is extremely potent, and if your mind is thinking negative stuff, then it's going to affect your body. So you have to get your mind right, get out of your mind, think with your heart. It's extremely potent. We have more power than we imagine to elevate the down feelings we experience. If we're depressed, our body will read our mind and translate the feeling into posture. You cannot get up on this chair, it's way too small. Our posture, slumped shoulders. You're going to have to go get on the bed, Buster. Head forward, eyes cast down, dragging and droopy gait. The exciting news is that our minds can also read our body. You cannot get up here. We have absolute control over how we hold our bodies. We cannot sustain depression if our eyes are looking up, our body is standing straight, and our walk is jaunty. See, even when I used to be on the computer, come on, Buster, stop it. On the computer all the time, and I would hunch. I have to now teach myself that if I don't want to hurt, Buster, get up here. That's enough. Get up here right now, or you're getting out. That's it. Come on. Get out of here. Go on. He's gone. Sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. So, one of the things that I was going to talk about, but I don't even want to speak that into existence for anybody, was seasonal depression and how the lack of sunlight and the bitter cold. And I don't even like taking my clothes off for a shower because it's so freezing. I mean, I'm just like freezing all the time if I'm not staying moving. So we cannot sustain depression if our eyes are looking up, our body is standing straight, and our walk is jaunty. So we have to be able to pull ourselves out of it. I am prone to depression. I have struggled with suicidal depression my whole life. So it really is very important that I begin to notice that stuff before it hits me. Before it hits me really and just takes over me. I cannot allow that to happen. As an experiment, assume a position that is depressed and down. So hang your head, let your tummy sag out. Check your feelings. Do they match your posture? Now get excited. Sit, or better yet, stand up tall. Stretch to your full height. Hold your head up proudly and look up. How does that feel? When I started learning how to like myself, I started walking taller. I started walking with my head up. I didn't look at the ground anymore. I had to start learning to like myself and have confidence to do that. Our minds and bodies, good servants to each other, listen for each other's commands. We can give ourselves a lift by looking up, straightening up, feeling up. So today, we help ourselves feel up by looking and straightening up. We use the power of our wonderful mind/body to feel good. We are an up, excited, and energetic being, whether you're a man or woman, these don't matter. You just apply it however it works for you. We all have divine feminine and masculine in us. Some of us, like me, have more masculine. So I have to touch more with the softer feminine side and tone myself down a notch. I have tons of fire in my chart as well. So I have to remind myself to Be soft. Be gentle. Be soft and be gentle, Heather. Be the fruits of the Spirit by knowing. So yesterday we've been working on faithfulness all week and healthy, wealthy, and wise. We start a new one each Sunday. So at the beginning of the week, really time doesn't exist, so none of that matters. So we wrote down our fears yesterday, tore them up. I said I wrote mine down and put them in the fire when I was in Tajaras, New Mexico, 7,800 feet up in the air, in the wilderness. So day 5, think of a time in your life when you were afraid, but you kept going anyway. You kept doing what you needed to do, and everything worked out. Remind yourself that fear falls away in the face of faith. Yes, that's very important. Probably the most recent time that I was absolutely terrified, I don't even want to say afraid, was crawling through that fire. But thank God I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength programmed into me, because I said it one time and I said it very scaredly, very unassuredly, very, very frightened. I mean, terrified. The smoke was so thick I had to close my eyes. But as I put one hand in front of the other, bear crawling, I said it again with a little more oomph. I said it the third time with so much oomph I crawled into the heater that was on fire and burnt my nose. I didn't even feel it because the adrenaline. And I had somebody comment yesterday on my food, my emotional eating video. Gave me some really good information about cortisol and dopamine and stuff, and how sugar actually feeds that. So when addicts come off of their drugs or their psych meds even, we reach for something that gives instant gratification to that stuff, which is why even in my addiction, I was eating sugar. I would live off of candy bars and all of that stuff while I was high out of my mind. In the language of letting go today, as we're metamorphosizing and transforming into the beautiful beings that we were meant to be all along, we're working on letting our anger out. It's okay to be angry, but it isn't healthy to be resentful. Regardless of what we learned as children, no matter what we saw role modeled, we can learn to deal with our anger in ways that are healthy for us and for those around us. Yes, we don't have to beat things up and beat ourselves up or any of that. People end up hurting themselves when they beat themselves up. We can have our angry feelings. We can connect with them, own them, feel them, express them, release them, and be done with them. I want to add, in a healthy manner. In a healthy manner. We can do it in a healthy manner. We don't have to do it with rage. It's suppressed feelings that come out in rage. In my class that I had to take, it was lifestyle redirection. They talked about the tip of the iceberg. And I've talked about this several times before. And so say, here's your water. Here's your water right here. And here's your iceberg. I need like a dry erase board that I can draw on and be like a real teacher. But I had water here. So our anger is up here, the iceberg, only what you can see. The anger is the reaction of all the suppressed emotions: fear, doubt, worry, disappointment, embarrassment. All of those underlying feelings are what comes out when we react in anger. We're denying all of the underlying feelings. We can learn to listen to what anger is telling us about what we want and need in order to take care of ourselves. I've got some echinacea tea. I'm having some sinus problems. And yogi, fasting, green tea, blueberry. It's delicious. Delicious. It says steadiness comes from character and commitment. Tell us what we need in order to take care of ourselves properly. Sometimes we can even indulge in angry feelings that aren't justified. Feelings are just feelings. There is no morality in the feeling, only in our behavior, our reaction. We can control our behavior and our reaction. We can control our attitude. Yes, we sure can. We can feel angry without hurting or abusing others or ourselves. We can learn to deal with anger in ways that benefit our relationships instead of ways that harm them, either verbally or physically. Either way, we don't want to hurt people with our words, with our ways. I have to really get in the habit and practice. Lord, put a guard over my mouth and seal the door to my lips and walk away as I go for a walk and calm down and think about a different way to do that instead of being a reactor, because I have been provoked many times by many people to the point where I snapped and flipped into rage and hurt them physically. I beat them up. Oh yes, I did. Men, I sure the heck did, because I was tired of being talked to that way. Tired of being criticized for doing my best. Hold on, I gotta grab some lotion. Bad thing about the bitter freaking cold into your hands, and I gotta keep this by me because I wash my hands so much. My hands are doing dishes, washing my hands, messing in the water, messing with plants. Wash your hands again. Take the trash out. Wash your hands again. Wash your hands, and they're so dry. If we don't feel our angry feelings today, we will need to face them tomorrow. So we have to deal with really what's under the anger. In all honesty, we have to. So today we will let ourselves feel our anger, and we will express our anger appropriately without guilt. Then we will be done with it. So when we learn to express ourselves in a proper manner, when we're denying hurt feelings, hurt is a big one that we deny. We don't want people to see that we're hurt, so we react and we mask it. We become skilled actors, all of us. You can see me when I start to cry, I'll like make my eyes really big and try to make it stop when I start to cry during a reading. So we thank you for The Language of Letting Go. It's a beautiful, amazing book. I am definitely doing One Day My Soul just opened up today. We are going to finish that. Yes, we are, because we're going to be moving on very soon within the next week to the Sacred Contracts and some amazing stuff. We've still got the Illusion of Us we haven't finished, but I've begun wrapping up all the other stuff. And we'll be done with Inner Peace for Busy People today too. It'll be the last one. That was a really good, amazing book. So what is today? The 14th of November. The greatest service that we can offer is doing what needs to be done. This is Until Today by Iyanla Vanzant, one of my very favorite authors. Spiritual advisors, my spiritual teacher. Of course, you deserve to have all the things you want in life. Of course, you are worthy of having them. These are givens. The question is, are you willing to do the work required to get what you want? I'm not talking about physical work. Oh no. Most of the time, we are all ready and willing to kill ourselves working to get what we want, if that's all it takes. People are spending way too much time working and making money to have too elaborate of lives and material needs than just being grateful for what we have right in front of us at all times. If that's all it takes, everyone's success would be assured. It is the mental, emotional, and spiritual work that we usually overlook. Then there is something that you really want. When there is something that you really want, there is one thing you must really do. Focus. I have to tell myself that out loud a lot. Focus, Heather. Focus. Focus your thoughts. Focus your energy. Focus what you're putting it on, negative or positive. When you really want to focus on something, there must be something you must develop and maintain. Discipline. You must be disciplined about what you think. You must do everything in a disciplined way. When you are working to master the art of discipline, there is something you must be: obedient. Obediently follow your first focused thought. Obediently follow through on the disciplined actions you take. When you are really obedient, there is one thing you will undoubtedly develop: focus. With focus, discipline, and obedience, you will reach any goal successfully. Until today, you may have believed that you could physically work your way to success. No, you can't. Just for today, focus your energy and attention on the mental, emotional, and spiritual work that will serve you as you reach for your highest and greatest good. So when you're on your journey here, make sure you have the emotional support you need and the spiritual advisors and your spiritual people to be there for you through the process, because it's a very lonely place when you start treading that journey if you don't have your people with you. You don't have people to encourage you along the way. So I'm ever so grateful for all of you guys, because I don't have all that here. I absolutely do not at all. Not in my home. Today we are devoted to being obediently disciplined about the things that we are focused on being and doing. Yes, we are. We are devoted. We are obediently listening to within. The answers are within. Seek within. So we're flipping back, working on acceptance, because last month we worked on forgiveness. It was in June. So we're working on acceptance, accepting what is, how it is, the way it is right now, and always. Having faith that the universe is working miracles in the background. We are now receptive to the idea that when we are afraid to hear the truth, we make up the truth the way we think it should be. There are some people who can only hear what they want to hear. It's amazing to me how I can say one thing and people's minds distort it, and they hear something different. Then they'll accuse me of saying something that I didn't even say. I'm glad when it's on video so I can rewind it. And I say it's really amazing to me. Like I say stuff to my child, and she hears. I say, hey, could you do this and this and this? And I do my very best to be sweet and say it in a very constructive way. And she hears, I know I'm a piece of shit, blah, blah. I did not say any of that at all. I would never say that to my child. And so it's amazing to me what I get accused of saying, because that's what they're hearing. Their brain is distorting the words that come out of my mouth. My guy used to do it too. Even not that long ago, a couple months ago, I say something, twist everything I said around. I said, it's funny how people hear something, and it could be in text right on the screen, and that's not what I said at all. At all. I said, when you're ready to talk about feelings, let's talk. Until then, don't ask me for nothing, because I'm busy healing. Oh, goodness. It is, however, extremely hard on the people who are trying to communicate with them. Yes, it is. People who hear what they want to hear usually miss the point, misinterpret the meaning, and are not above making up things that make them feel more comfortable with what is said and who is saying it. Yes, it's very tough one. Why is that stuff popping up there? When challenged about their interpretation of what was said, people who hear what they want to hear will get mad or upset about the things they heard that were never even spoken. I am so glad this is right here. I'm going to dog tag this little page over, because this tends to happen frequently. They're not even hearing. Hello, hello. Grand rising to you, beautiful sister. We're talking about when people hear things that you did not say right now, and acceptance. People who hear what they want to hear can feel accused, degraded, or criticized, regardless of what is said. You could have said something totally different, and their mind twisted and around and distorted it. They are extremely defensive, which makes it difficult to talk to them. Yes, it absolutely does, even about important things. People who hear what they want to hear know how things should be said, but even when they can't seem to hear them. It's like their ears are blocked. No matter how big their ears are, no matter nothing, they're not hearing it. Which is why I get attacked by the church and so many more people. And it's not even fun to have attackers, stone throwers. People who hear what they want to hear are mind readers and body language experts. They can read meanings into a speaker's tone of voice. They often derive some meaning from the speaker's hand gestures. They believe there is some relevance to how fast or slow the speaker's eyes move, and they intuit meanings from the direction in which the speaker's head is tilted. I have had this book, Never Be Lied to Again, and I don't know where it went, but it talked about how when people are coming from memory, they might look to, I think it's the left. I can't say for sure because I don't have the book anymore, wherever it went. I had it 20 years ago. But when I was being cheated on and lied to all the time. So I started reading body language. Plus, psychology is my passion. So I really pay attention to people. I study human behavior, abnormal psychology all my life. I have. Like, I started psychology and stuff back in 2001, but I was studying all this stuff. I got my first computer in 2001. So that would be right about the time that started happening. 2002, I think. So I've been studying psychology and human behavior for a very, very long time. So it says they can read meanings into the speaker's tone of voice and hand gestures. Then we're talking about eyes. They challenge the integrity and intelligence of certain speakers because there are only certain people they can hear. This alone gives them a reason to blame what they do or don't on someone else. It's not their fault, but it is. They did not want to hear what was being said. Until today, you may have been a person who hears what you want to hear rather than what's being said. Just for today, practice not adding meanings or diminishing the value. Somebody's slamming doors. Must be my kid. Of what is said to you based on who is saying it. So don't add meanings or diminish the value of what's being said to you based on who is saying it or what is said. Today we are devoted to hearing the truth in what is said and not giving the truth our own meaning, not twisting it, not distorting it like the word, like the Bible. Anybody who adds to or removes from this word will be in trouble, it says in Revelation. So I don't know who twisted all that stuff up. Boy, if that girlfriend of my child's calls starting stuff again, it's not going to be pretty for her. The mental hospital up north, when she had to go up there, had to call me and tell me that she was making death threats on me. I said, I'm not scared of her. I'm not scared of her at all. She don't even mean that. She's just angry. So, there will be one more. Somebody put this little post-it in this book, Inner Peace for Busy People. It says, remember the N word. No. So they must have had a problem with telling people no and setting their healthy boundaries. Oh my goodness. That's funny. I like that. They left me a little note. Remember the no, the N word. No. All right. So we're going to be keeping the faith today. And there is a little closing that I'll read tomorrow. But let's talk about the humbling of Peter. Peter was walking on water. Till he took his eyes off Christ, he was walking on water. Luke 22:54 through 62 is what we're supposed to read. I'm not going to do that right now. Peter's pride in his own cleverness and strength got in the way of God's purposes. Pride is a deadly one. Pride and ego. Pride comes from the ego. Excuse me. It's all ego-minded. Ego. Christ sought a servant leader to guide believers after he returned to heaven. The former fisherman was an impulsive know-it-all, but the Lord saw through Peter's arrogance to his potential. He knew Peter's humiliation in today's passage would challenge and mature him. And Peter's the one who denied Christ 3 times after they said, do you know this man? He said, no, I do not. No, I do not. And 3 times. And so that probably ended up humbling him in the end. And he went on to write 1 Peter and 2 Peter. When Christ's words conflicted with Peter's opinions, the disciple boldly rebuked the teacher. Matthew 16:21-23, and John 13:5-8. And Christ would respond with a pointed reprimand meant both to silence and to teach. Christ would say something, you hypocrites, and tell it just the way it was. Check them, so to speak, meant to both silence and to teach, planted seeds. Some people have to be approached that way, because if not, they're not listening. It's crazy. It's really crazy that sometimes you have to say it like that. And if you read all the words of Christ, he spoke in parables, absolutely spoke in parables, in riddles, and he said it like it was. He was not always kind. No, he wasn't. You hypocrites. Perhaps if you take the log out of your own eye, you would be, who are you to judge a speck in your brother's eye when you have a log in your own? Perhaps if you took the log out of your own eye, then you could see clearly to help remove the speck from your brother's. Absolutely. See, say it like it is. Say it simple, say it straight with a smile. Say it with love. Sometimes in the presence of Peter's peers. Ultimately, the disciple made a mistake in the area where he once felt great confidence, his commitment to die for the Lord. Matthew 26:35. Instead, he denied Christ 3 times before the rooster crowed. And Christ already knew that was going to happen. Christ said, one of you will deny me 3 times. This final humiliation, witnessed by a group of strangers, shattered his self-assurance. Jesus chipped away at Peter's pride for 3.5 years before the disciple gave up his notion that Christ was Israel's grand deliverer from Roman oppression. Achieving glory ceased to matter when he chose to focus on the Lord's plan for lasting personal salvation. And thanks to Peter's newfound humility, God had a servant leader. 1 Peter 5:5-6. Are you hindering God's work in your life? You may not be able to see it right now. Sometimes if your ego's in the way, you can't see clearly at all. But God isn't afraid to reveal those areas for your good and divine glory. The Spirit's glory, not ours. We give the credit to the Spirit. It's not even me working. I'm just a messenger. I'm just a body. This body and this voice is just a messenger. It's the Spirit working in me, because in a million years, I never would have thought I would be doing any of this. No, sirree. No, sirree, Bob. Not at all. The Lord humbled Peter and renewed him, and he will do the same for believers who yield to the Spirit's will, the Spirit within each and every one of us. So, the humble. Sometimes you will be made to be humble. You will be forced to drop down on your knees, especially if your ego and your pride and all of those selfish ways are so high, you might have to descend. Descending. Maybe you think you're up higher than the Spirit, and it's you doing all the work. Oh, no, it's not. It's the Spirit in you. The Spirit in you. I like those little Charles Stanley. They're called In Touch. And he uses he for God, and he says God and Jesus. But Jesus is not the name of the Son of God. And it's not even Yahshua either. So I can't even get into all that, because people haven't read all of the stuff that I've read. The Stage of Time is truly, truly amazing, and I've figured so much more out. But I don't even know if everybody's ready for all that information. Keep the faith. Scholars and theologians spin endless theories about where we came from, why we're here, where we're going, and what's going to happen to us when we get there. But in the end, the meaning of life is a matter of faith. And faith can be a fragile bird whose wings are easily torn, or a mighty eagle that soars above you. My favorite scripture is, those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar like the wings on an eagle. They will run and not be weary, and walk and never be faint. It can guide you on your journey and bring you peace even when the path before you is obscure or strewn with obstacles. In the end, faith is less a set of beliefs than your willingness to surrender to a mysterious force of love and guidance that helps you find your way. During the years when I was a medical psychologist, I had the opportunity to hear a lot about faith. Since being ill or facing death tends to bring ex- existential questions to the fore, faith turned out to be a very personal thing for most people, far richer than unquestioned internalization of religious dogma. Talking to a young mother in her 30s with two small children and advanced Hodgkin's disease taught me a lot about faith. I bet it did. I bet it did. Susan wanted desperately to live and watch her children grow. She did everything she could to ensure her recovery. Not only was she cared for by excellent physicians, but she also took responsibility for eating well, attending our body mind clinic, and consulting a Chinese physician for acupuncture and treatment with herbs. I am doing all I can to fight for my life and my children, she told me. But the outcome is up to God. Like most people who are sick, I pray to be healed, but I know it's not always part of the bigger picture. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. I am not narcissistic enough to believe that God runs the universe based on my suggestions. So I also pray for strength and courage to follow God's plan with a peaceful heart, whether it means life or death. The universe is so much larger, grander, and more loving than anything we could imagine. Yes, it is. Everything unfolds with such elegance in its own time. That's what I have faith in. That's what comforts me when I wake up sick and scared. Susan loved a story about faith that the assistant director of our program, Steve Moyer, told her group. It was a close reflection of her philosophy. This story concerns a humble advisor to a powerful king. Well, since we're talking about humility today with Peter, the advisor was a learned man who had studied philosophy in the great cities of the East. Yet he led his life according to a simple rule of faith. Don't worry, everything happens for the best. One day, the king was out hunting, and the regal stag he had been tracking for several seasons got away. He was so frustrated that he broke his great bow in two against a rock. His advisor, ever philosophical, reassured him that everything happens for the best. Sick of hearing what he thought was an insane platitude from a stupid philosopher, the king had the advisor locked up in the dungeon. Now tell me that everything happens for the best, he challenged. Now tell me, he challenged. But the advisor only shook his head and smiled. We'll see, he said, as he settled down on the stone floor in his cell, pulling his cloak against himself to ward off the cold. The following day, the king went hunting again, alone in his time since the advisor was in the dungeon. While jumping over a pile of brush, he was thrown from his stallion and broke his leg. Karma comes quick sometimes. A band of hostile men rode up shortly, and the helpless king cringed in terror as they set upon him. He was sure that he would be robbed and killed, or kidnapped and held for ransom. But oddly, gesticulating excitedly at his broken leg, the men got on their horses and rode away. The king managed to mount his steed and return to the castle, although he was in great pain. I'm sure he was. As soon as the court physician had set his leg, the angry king called for his advisor to be brought from the dungeon. Tell me now, he growled menacingly at the man, how breaking my leg was all for the best. Crossing the massive arms over his crimson robes, the king reclined with a sour smirk on his pained face. By your leave, your majesty, I will explain exactly why everything happened for the best. Those were not bandits who set upon you, but worshippers of the nature gods. It is spring, their time of sacrifice. They were hoping to capture you as an offering to their deities so that the crops would grow well this year and their flocks would multiply. But since your leg was broken, you were useless to them. Sacrifices must be perfect specimens. See, we shouldn't even be making human sacrifices. Those gods of the Bible, those ones that use animal and human sacrifices and stuff, God is not our creator. The king considered this answer, remembering the way that men had pointed at his leg with such excitement. That may be true enough, he said to the advisor, but how can it all be for the best that you were thrown in the dungeon? Think about it, suggested the advisor. I always go hunting with you. When the barbarians left you because your leg was broken, they would have taken me instead. Even as we speak, I would have been sacrificed to their gods. So being locked in the dungeon saved my life. Ah, being locked in prison saved my life. Yes, it did. Whether or not you're religious, faith is a major component of inner peace. Dr. James Fowler of the Harvard Divinity School wrote a wonderful book called The Stages of Faith. He traces 6 stages through which faith matures as we grow psychologically throughout the lifespan. Faith passes through the black and white, heaven and hell stage typical of early childhood. Beyond the shared religious convictions of family and peers, convictions from our family, yes, they shun us and they tell us we need to do this and that before we can have love. We can't be accepted until we have good jobs and until that's how my family operates. So, are you working yet? Everything revolves around having an actual physical job at a freaking department store or fast food restaurant. Nope, that ain't working. I'm working for God. That's far more important. I'm changing the whole world. It doesn't matter. We got people from Sweden, everywhere else. Sweden, New Zealand. We got Europe. We got all kinds of people from everywhere, all coming together with a common bond of love because we want to heal the world. That's far more important than working at Wendy's, in my eyes. And the Spirit says so too. Faith passes through the black and white heaven and hell stage typical of early childhood beyond shared religious convictions of family and peers. Their wrong beliefs made so many people so sick. To an independent consideration of our place in the universe. The final stage, which Fowler calls universalizing faith, is based on compassionate respect for all people and the determination to make the world a better place. People such as Mohandas Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., the Dalai Lama, Rabbi Abraham Heschel, and Mother Teresa have entirely different religious convictions, but they're alike in modeling the highest stage of faith, which finds its expression through enlightened social action. I had a dream that one day all men and women would be equally yoked, created equally. Nobody's underfoot, nobody's treated like a doormat, and nobody's left behind, neglected or abused anymore. So we're going to make that into fruition. Abraham Lincoln, right down there on the Gettysburg Address, and the Declaration of Independence. We've already been declared free so many times. So what is the hold up? Since 1777. This week, take an hour or two to write a spiritual autobiography. What are the stages that your own faith has progressed through? When you are busy and hassled or experience serious problems, does your faith support you? Does it comfort you? And what are the sources of the peace it brings? Alternatively, you may discover that some of your religious beliefs frighten you or seem nonsensical, and that it's time to reconsider them. Or perhaps faith is an elusive thing, in which case it's well worth pursuing. If you gather a small group of family and friends together to do this exercise and then compare your reflections, you'll be amazed what you can learn from one another. At one seminar I facilitated, a mother and daughter who were both Catholic attended together. During a small group discussion, they were astonished to find that they had completely different experiences of their religion and that their faith stemmed from separate roots. In comparing their journeys, both were enriched while developing an even deeper respect for one another and their religion. So the Spirit isn't grand rising to you. Grand rising. The Spirit speaks through every single religion, and religion is all man-made, meant for separation. So that'll be. Let me see how long this is. Oh, we'll just close this book. We'll finish it right now. Hallelujah. I'm going to go ahead and close it. Closing thoughts and a vision for the future. We already finished this whole book. It was beautiful. You picked up this book because of your hope that you could find inner peace in a world gone mad with busyness. It is my hope as well. If you long to create a future different from your past, then you're a member of a growing group of people who hold a collective vision for peace that can change society and make the world a better place for everyone. Heal the World by Michael Jackson and We Are the World. I suggest you listen to those. I'm going to listen to them again. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the anti-human race. I think he was a prophet, and I think that he got lied upon, and I don't think he did that. I always went. I had a notebook when I was in, I want to say first grade, a folder or a little, those notebooks with Michael Jackson on it. And I don't know where I would have started liking Michael Jackson because my parents listened to rock and roll. So I know they weren't listening to it. If any of the 52 lessons in this book were a source of inspiration and reflection for you, I hope that you're putting them into action. I've been in the field of personal growth for more than 20 years, and I'm well aware of the tendency to learn something, think of it as valuable, and then promptly forget all about it. I forget what I say I'm going to do. By the time I hit end and walk away, I forget that fast. I kept the essays purposely short so that you could reread them often and put their message to work in your life. You may want to check back through the table of contents. Oh, well, we're not going to do all that. We may come back to this book later because it was really so amazing. It makes a good starting point for creating a new future. You could always go back and watch the other videos. Even though some of them are daily reads, lots of them don't have today's date on them, but they still all flow together amazingly. It's beautiful. Remember that change doesn't happen all at once. Unless you're in the witness protection program, it says small steps will get you where you're going. Baby steps to healing, ever so gently for all our trauma survivors in healing. And if you take honest steps toward peace, I can almost guarantee that you'll go to places more extraordinary than you've ever imagined. Even without even leaving your home, you can be in so many different places doing amazing things all over the world. It's pretty miraculous. There's a divine hand that works unseen. If you take a single step toward positive change, that divine energy would take 100 steps towards you. Open up for you. No, new worlds and unbelievable possibilities will open up for you. The synchronicities that will begin appearing in your life will become a source of delight and amazement. One strong suggestion. Slow down, Heather. I have for working with this book is buy a few copies for friends and family and start an inner peace group. See, I was thinking about holding a meditation here with my brother. You can discuss a new essay each week with our singing bowls and start an inner peace group. Never mind, I read the wrong sentence. You can discuss a new essay each week and compare notes on how you're putting the previous week's material into action. Margaret Mead believed that cultural change would come less from legislation, in big social programs than it would come from small groups of committed people meeting in living rooms. I agree. If we were to create a new future, the power to do so is magnified exponentially wherever two or more are gathered for a good purpose. Yes. Remember the basics. Thank you so much for the likes, everyone. Remember the basics. Breathe. Funny that I picked a quote about breathing today. Breathe. Take time for a walk. Take care of yourself. Be a good listener. Practice gratitude. Forgive. I use that today too. No, that's going to be tomorrow. Search for meaning. Learn to manage your mind. Manage your mind is very important. Get control of your thinking, your stinking thinking at that. Keep things simple. Our NM group was keep it simple, stupid. And that's with that little feather right there, as it just says, keep it simple on a feather. That's all that's on there. And practice a few random acts of kindness. Together, we can change the world. Yes, we can. That was an amazing, beautiful book by Joan Borysenko, PhD, New York Times best-selling author of Seven Paths to God. So I noticed the other day I was on the bus, not the other day, when I'm on the bus, one particular bus, and it goes through this one area of town, I've noticed this Baha'i Spiritual Center. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, to tell you the honest truth. But it's on the church that we go meditate at. Hold on, I'm trying to put this book back on the shelf. Just give me a second. Thank you for your patience. It said, I was looking at my calendar, in the 12th, says BAHAULLAH. Now, if I'm thinking about this right, oh, dagnabbit, where did that go? It's right here. Now, this I got at a garage sale. Spirit, mind, and body. And of course, it's got the American flag and the globe, and they're teaching the children nothing but lies. And it talked about, ooh, maybe it's not this one. The Baha'is, whatever that is. BAHAU. It's known as BAHA, and it's got little tildes and all of that. This isn't the right one. It's on a different one. As a matter of fact, it's probably back here because I got this from an elderly woman who sold things, and these are all coated in, it's taped shut. They wanted to keep it safe. This one is about the essence, represents the spirit of education, presiding over the guidance of programming Americans with lies. So, because it's got this, the light, the woman holding the torch right there, and you got the beefy worker boys and the workers. There's farmland back there, and the globe, and the teacher teaching. Where is that one of that Baha'i? Because I keep seeing it when I do take the bus, when I do leave the house, which is not often. I try to get all of that done at once. I'm wondering if it's in a book somewhere. These were all she had in. There's like the Psalms, Father's hand, consolation, God's kind care. I bet you money it's in. There's about a dogwood tree. Nope, it must be in I bet it's in my Don't Slander Jesus book, because I had a day with my grandmother that I had that in there. And my grandmother is a Catholic woman, bless her heart, because I'll have to find it, but I keep getting drawn to that little spiritual center. A starseed? Oh, who? Michael Jackson? Michael Jackson? I believe he was a starseed. I believe he really was going to do great works for changing the world. Oh, tomorrow we'll have hope. Hope, despite a changing world. We are going to change the world. Yes, we already are. We already are. It's those who are in touch spiritually. Yes, Michael Jackson. That's a very tragic story. I said I was going to marry Michael Jackson, but my mother told me I couldn't marry a black man. That's just the way my mother. And then my instant, with the mind of a child that you don't even think. It's called the Baha'i Center. Hold on, I'll write it down. I'll write it right on. There's one that's spiritual one. It's called the Spiritual Church, and they have the signs. I've seen like 3 of them. Oh, really? That's awesome. The one we go meditate at, it's called and we don't go every Wednesday. It's Wednesdays at 6:30 for 30 minutes, and they talk for however many minutes. Let me write that down, and I'll show you what it looks like. It said the 12th was the birth. BAHA. And then so this is what this name looks like. That's the long one, and then it says in parentheses right there. So I looked it up, and they do have a service on Sunday. And actually, the Unity Spiritual Church that we went to meditate at, they have a big banner when you go in. It says, God is, I am, we are. Yes, it does. Look. Oh, right. Yes. And my mother said that. And in the mind of my child, as a child, I was like, he's not black, he's brown. You know what I mean? Like, that type of stuff didn't resonate with me. But I'm from a little tiny, closed-minded little white town. That's just the way that they were raised. The spiritual center has the sun, and there's a big peace dove, and then they have a little banner thing with all of the religious symbols. So they have a yin yang, however you say that. And then because in America, all our words are distorted. Even saying morning, I keep saying grand rising because we're not morning anymore. And the English language is tricky. But it had all of the symbols, the Jewish symbol, the cross, everything on one banner, all Unity. It's called Unity Spiritual Church. So that Baha'i Center, I kind of want to check it out. I do. I'm really into spirituality, not religion anymore. Oh, gotcha. Aetherian Society. I would have to check that out. Let me write this down. Atherian. And then somebody asked me if we could teach from the Emerald Text soon. So I got a book in my Amazon cart. And then Apple freaking charged me for a YouTube family, which I don't even do YouTube. I did the trial for 1 month for free. And now I keep trying to let the video play in the background while I'm doing something else and it shuts off. But I'm not going to pay them $25 freaking dollars a month. I don't even have that. The Department of Education is taking $134 out of my disability check, so they're not taking any more money. So I'll have to wait for Apple to put more money back in. I will. I've actually got that I want to talk to you about, and something we brought up yesterday, something we were just talking about. Absolutely. I would love to talk about that. So probably sometime today I will call you if you're going to be available. But I think I've got to go. I've got to go out and get some more water, and I got to see if it's going to be spring water or distilled water that's going to be best for my plants. So I've got to go out and get a couple of gallons of water, which is not far. It'll be a good workout on my arms on the way home. So if I go get 2 gallons of water, so I've got to go out and get water because I'm not herbal. Yes, herbal medicine. And I've been told that distilled water is really best for me. I was drinking spring water. That is spring water. And then I'm being told that distilled water is best for me. And I get plenty of my vitamins and minerals every day. This is what I take, and I'll just show you. Actually, matter of fact, it's downstairs. Every single day, this is what I take in the morning. 1 handful is in one side. So that's all of that. Garlic oil, oregano oil, my minerals, trace minerals, all of that stuff. And every day I take boron, I take 369 omegas. I don't always take the recommended 3 because I'm really only 125 pounds, and I don't think that goes for everyone. I'm getting even below that with fasting, and I really don't want to lose more weight, so I have to figure out all of this stuff. But I definitely do want to talk about that because I'm getting things moving over here. So I will call you later today because I definitely want to talk about that. And I'm going through, I'm cleaning off my dresser, cleaning out my life, cleaning out all kinds of stuff. I am going to come back and do one day my soul just open up because we're done with the 4 agreements. We're not going to talk about emotional eating again. And then we're going to come back and talk about the evolution of consciousness. It's The Illusion of Us, The Suppression and Evolution of Human Consciousness by Matthew LaCroix. Same author as The Stage of Time, which is tucked in its own folder that we already did. So there was much shocking truth in that one that woke me up to a whole lot of things. And I didn't come back and do it last night because there was a mad drama going on here, and I wasn't going to bring that to everybody's into everybody's life. So I'm going to take a break now, and I thank everybody for coming. I thank everybody for healing. I thank everybody for passing it on, spreading the joy, spreading the love, and for all the likes. I love you all so much. Much gratitude, much love, and we will talk soon for sure. Have a beautiful day and keep your thoughts positive, keep your mind positive, and you can do amazing things.